Hey guys, full load in. Other weird noises. I'm about to get a huge thunderstorm, so be expecting some um, weird sound pods. Hopefully, they'll drown out everything in the background. So today we're gonna watch a little bit of stuff over the Apple curved display rumor, and not the curve like Samsung, a different curve. We're also going to be talking about Nokia, and is it too late for them? We're also going to be talking about OnePlus 6. It was seen and leaked today with its screen on, with that notch that they copied. And then whatever else you guys want on my computer so I can watch it. So just give me just a second. Okay, so let's see. My dog is hungry apparently. It's over there eating. All right. So, hi, Crime Wave. What's up? All right. So, let's get started with the whole Apple and the curved display. Mainly, this is going to be my take on it. And if I think it's a smart move for them, and if I really think the Apple community is going to like it. Now, one thing about Apple, they really don't care if the Apple community actually likes it or not, because they know eventually we'll just adapt, and then it'll be one of those things that we never thought we could have lived without. Um, and that is Apple's uh, whole business model, is that they um, they know what's best for us, and we'll use it regardless, pretty much. Uh, so, do I think it's a good idea? I don't think it's a good idea. First off, LG has tried this in the past. And yes, we know Apple does really well with taking older technology and making it really for the better. Now, curved displays are really awesome, big screens. So, an OLED panel on your wall, that might be a really good idea, hence curved TVs. If is there a benefit for a smartphone? I don't think so. I don't think the screen size is large enough to benefit from having a curved display. Now, there are some cool things that can come with it, like the LG G Flex was able to go from a curve and you could bend it flat, and surprisingly, the screen would not break, and the internals, like the CPU, the motherboard, would all be able to flex with this. Now, is Apple going to make a flexing phone? Who knows? And again, this is all just speculation and rumors. However, the only benefit I would see is to make a larger display not seem so large by curving it. But then you have the problem with a curved phone being in your pocket, and the LG G Flex was a 6-inch display. And it was really hard to feel comfortable with that in your pocket. So I don't see this as an Apple way of doing things. 6-inch displays, which will be on the 10 Plus, will be fine. But other than that, I think we'll wrap that part of this topic up. But just saying, I don't think they would. I don't think it is a good idea. But if they do, hopefully they'll nail it and come up with some sort of way to make it even better. So the next topic is Nokia. Nokia, once at the top of the food chain, along with BlackBerry, and as we see these tech giants finally crumble, um, Nokia has launched a couple of nostalgic phones, and I think that's their selling point now. Is all they could do is a nostalgic style of phone. So you can go to Target, last place I saw one, you can go to Target into the cell phone section and see the new Nokia phone that resembles the really, really old one. Kind of cool if you want to spend $60 on a phone that you can't load the internet on. Um, but that is it. I mean, who's really going to buy it? You're probably watching this on a smartphone, and so you already have a phone. So why would you buy that? But there is a rumor that they are coming out with a phone with an amazing camera. Um, I think it's going to take the Huawei style with the three camera lens, one being a 40 megapixel sRGB lens, and then one being a 20 megapixel monochrome lens. Now, the benefits for this are really awesome. You get really cool white and black. So like this refrigerator behind me, if I was taking a photo with this white and this black, it would be able to handle it really, really well. And then the 40 megapixel, just for the zooming, if you have to crop zoom, it does handle a lot more detail, and it will be a lot, you know. So best way I can put it is, so like with the iPhone 10, you have one lens that is for um, your normal, wide angle. If you want to call it wide angle, we know Samsung pretty much dominates the wide angle. But then you have a telephoto lens so that you can get 2 times optical zoom. And so you have the difference between crop zoom and optical zoom. And the optical zoom, you're going to get lossless quality. Eh, because that depends. If you're in a dark room with the telephoto lens that's on the iPhone, you're pretty much going to want to use the wide angle lens and then crop zoom it anyways, because there's going to be a lot of noise and a lot of artifacting. So you have that to watch out for. So essentially what would happen is having these three lenses on uh, like the P10 from Huawei and the Nokia phone, if this does have it, it allows good zooming because it will have a telephoto lens. But then if you can't use that telephoto lens, it won't hurt because you'll have that 40 megapixel sRGB, and you'll be able to zoom in quite closely. And I suggest you look up P10 videos from Huawei because they do a really awesome job. And if you care anything about benchmarking, which I don't really say go with what benchmarking has to say, but if you're a benchmark fanatic and you take benchmarkings really seriously, it beat out all other smartphones with DxO mark. Sorry, there's a bug flying around. It beat out the Pixel, it beat out the iPhone, and it beat out the Galaxy. So I don't know where that is. And that's something to take in consideration. Evidently the three camera style works. Evidently, Huawei's AI camera and its chip are doing something that the other guys quite haven't figured out. And though Apple's processing software may be better, though Galaxy's processing software might be better, the Huawei, if Nokia can do what Huawei did, then there'll be another screen for it. I don't know if that's enough though. It has to be something out of the ballpark, kind of like OnePlus, and that's our next topic. So OnePlus has had an amazing track record getting into the smartphone industry. With the OnePlus One, they kind of wanted to do this never settle campaign and say that you can have the greatest smartphone for cheap. You don't have to buy what Apple and Samsung, you can have a light skin of Android and you not have to sacrifice. So if you remember old style Samsung and still the Samsung experience, TouchWiz was really, really heavy back then and wasn't really RAM efficient, and it had, awful ways of, lagging up and whatnot. So OnePlus kind of didn't want to sacrifice that. They kind of wanted to go for the Nexus style, have a light skin, lower screen resolution, and this would be not so much of a drain on the processor. And they killed it in benchmarking scores, and that has not failed. If you look at every OnePlus up until now, they just dominate speed when it comes to Android, and it's one thing iPhone users like is speed. And so if there's anyone that's really going to capture the attention of an iPhone user, I think OnePlus 6 is doing it, or OnePlus is doing it. So OnePlus 5T has amazing track record for being really, really fast. You have one model that has 128 gigs of RAM and 8 gigs of storage, and that model just it's so intense because that 8 gigs of RAM that we're now needing is there, and it can handle so much more, and it kind of takes the strain off of the processor still having a 1080p display. So OnePlus 6 is around the corner, and we've seen some leaks, and today we got a leak of it on the actual display being on. Of course, we don't know what the resolution is going to be, and we can only speculate it's going to have the Snapdragon 845, and it's going to have a bigger display, of course. It has the notch, and we don't know if it's going to have 1080p. We don't know if it's going to have UHD. I do hope it does have UHD. Reason why is because 1080p is starting to look dull. If iPhone 10 is the next standard for the next smaller iPhone, so all iPhones will move away from 1080p, then I think OnePlus will follow. OnePlus likes to follow Apple. If you look at their design choices with the 5 and the 5T, very iPhone 7, very iPhone 7. Like literally, sometimes people can actually get confused. Though I don't know how their software is going to work. I know that they're making it where you can probably hide the notch if you don't want it and just have a thin bevel there. But I don't know if they're going to be as thin on the bottom as the iPhone, because they have all these connectors and the manufacturing costs that it would take to curve the display under the display, so that you can connect the display. Sorry, lots of displays. Would cost a lot for such a small company, and it looks like it's already putting a strain on the price point that OnePlus wants. So OnePlus used to be really cheap, $400 range, $300 range, and you were getting flagship specs for such a small price. And then the 5 kind of changed that, and now the 5T kind of changed that. And so now we're getting a more premium flagship that's like these flagships that we have today, the Galaxy and the iPhone. So you're going to have a glass back, and then, of course, the notch. So all of these things take a manufacturing cost and boost them. And so you're going to see that trickle down to the OnePlus group. And I really don't know if that is a good thing, because that's where they built their foundation, as being the cheaper guys. So it is looking good. Their benchmark leaks are nailing it, blowing even Samsung out of the water. And their only really competition in speed would be the Google Pixel, if Google actually knocks it out of the ballpark this year, and we'll see. So those are the 3 major topics I wanted to talk about. I'm going to give you all a second to reply in the chat, and thanks for the nice comments, by the way. It is really coming down out there. I'll give you all a few seconds. If there's anything you want to hear about, any questions, go ahead and post them. I did make a t-shirt. The ones that I want to make are not going to be red and black. This is just actually the one I work out in. But they're black and green, and they look really cool, and I'll be wearing them in the next couple of videos. So really, really awesome work done. So yeah, I'll give y'all a few seconds. And for y'all that have been on my channel a lot, the intro is changing to the new logo. I know y'all have seen the new logo by now. It's even the profile picture. So it looks really good, really well done, and I hope you know all the tech people I think will like it. So um, let's see. Let's see if there's anything else I can talk about before I end this, just because it's the first show. So I want to make sure there's enough content. Um, Seems like the few of you that are on here actually are liking this. Maybe I'll do it at an earlier time, um, so that more people can join in. I really like this. It's a way for me to actually be on a one-on-one with you guys, and that's where I want to be. That's where I want to stay. Oh yeah, the Spotify special announcement. Um, that's going to be interesting. I don't know. I've seen some hints and rumors that they might be making like a car add-on for Spotify. I use Apple Music. If y'all know me at all, I use all Apple products across the board. Not that I I like Android. I've used Android. It's so much easier for me to use Apple products. Sorry, my dog is all nice and happy. um, so yeah, if that is the option, that's really cool. And I think Spotify needs to gain that kind of ability because we have Android Auto, we have CarPlay, and Spotify really doesn't have its own system. And so if it could find a way to sneak into everyone's cars and be at a low cost, that would be really awesome. Because I mean, even Amazon can do it, and most cars coming out now have that option. All right, well, looks like no questions. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see live videos more often, just one-on-one topics, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button so I can, analyze this and make sure that this is what you guys want. Other than that, you guys have a fantastic weekend. I know it's Friday, and I will try to upload more videos, I promise. I'm going to actually make one after this is done. So you have a great one. I need to make the AirPod review, so any questions, go ahead. I know they're old, but whatever. I just got them. So, all right. Bye, you guys.